Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Master Tarot. My name is Libby, and I'm thrilled to have you with me today here. What I want to have a quick look at today is a follow-up on Hungary. They recently had their general election. I originally read on this election back in December and had seen that Orban would win. Yes, he did win. He is a very right-wing conservative leader, anti-progression, anti-LGBTI, anti-equality, you name it. Anyhow, so he is quite an autocratic dictator where he's now been, this is his fourth term. So he has been the leader in the last 10 years. He's basically rewritten the constitution, or his party has rewritten the constitution to make it very difficult for him to be opposed. He has rewritten the election criteria, which means that gerrymandering is quite rife. And from what I've read with the elections is that they have particular districts or areas or zones, but anybody can register in any zone and elect and vote in any district on the day. So if there is an area where the result may be close, he can ship in, or they can arrange for voters to drive in. And there were reports of busloads of voters being moved from one area to another, where he was assured to be voted in to an area that was close. So therefore, those busloads of people could then tip the election in his favour in those particular areas. So it's all a bit dodgy for someone who comes from a better than normal diplomatic and fair democracy procedure being in Australia. So the election is somewhat in dispute. I think the outcome cannot be disputed, but the method to get there is under dispute. So what we've got here is lots of little notes here. He's very pro-Putin. He has condemned the invasion of Ukraine. I think that was to appease the rest of the EU. Hungary is part of the EU at the moment. However, he has soundly criticised Zelensky, that Hungary has engaged in the sanctions against various portions of Russia, but they are not sending any equipment or humanitarian aid to Ukraine itself either. So the election is far from being democratic, to be honest. Voters can be registered in any district. The leader of the election office is an ally of Orban. Most of the magistrates that have been installed are his people. The local observers are banned, so Hungary election observers are not permitted. However, outside the country, observers are allowed in. And one thing that was brought quite clearly was that there were 300,000 more votes for Orban than there had been at any previous time. 70% of people of the Hungary have voted, the eligible constituents, so fantastic. And the opposition leader, Peter Markizai, I do apologise and I'm sure I pronounced that wrong. I do apologise that I got his name wrong in my previous. I knew the Peter part, but I couldn't get the rest online at that time. So I want to have a look at a few things just on regards to that election. One thing I brought up in my previous reading is that Hungary does get a lot of funds from the EU in terms of aid, etc. A lot of that money appears to be funneled off to the bank accounts of a select few. And when I did the reading, yes, it very much spoke of money laundering and dark money. So if you want to go back and have a look at that reading, if I get anything wrong, please let me know. All I can go on is what is in the international media. I look at sites like the BBC, etc., Al Jazeera, etc., which tend to be fairly non-biased and have a good quality of journalism. So please, I'm happy to learn. If I have anything wrong, please let me know. So what do I want to have a look at? Okay, tell me about Viktor Orban. Tell me about Viktor Orban. Tell me about Viktor Orban. Tell me about the man himself. The leader. Oops, I've got a card that's turned back to front there. So using my mystical manga cards, which is what I use when I'm talking about politics. Okay, so I've got the Seven of Wands here. He's having to defend himself in regards to something. Infighting. Bit of infighting going on. Page of Wands, so 2 wands here. The signifier is a wand and the first clarifier is a wand. This is about a youthful person bringing forward a very important message, an orator that needs to be heard. And then we have Crossroads, so this is very much actually about Hungary, but Orban as well. And I brought this card up in the original reading as well. I watched it again this morning just to clarify my thoughts on a few things. We all know how awkward it is watching yourself on a video, but I did, or listen to myself. But this card came up quite significantly then as well. The country is at a crossroads. It holds the 2 swords of truth, and a decision needs to be made as to which path it will follow. And then we have, this is wish fulfillment, but it is also the smug merchant, the 9 of Cups. So it's about, he's feeling blessed and benevolent to be voted back in. So this is probably a bit of a sweet period for Hungary at the moment. And he wants to keep the country as it is, living in the past. The connections to Russia, but there is something to be revealed. There is an energy coming forward, a relationship energy coming forward that needs to be revealed. So he has defended himself basically. And has achieved this election. But there are messages that are going to come out. There are decisions that the country needs to make in regards to its future. And this is also about Orban at a crossroads, about the truth itself. So he will find himself at a crossroads as the truth, the messages are being brought forward in regards to the truth. But at the moment, he's pretty smug. He's sitting there comfortable, as I said, feeling benevolent. He's enjoying this moment of believing that he is loved by the people. And I do know that his government controls the media in the country. So as we've observed with other countries like Russia, etc., if the media is controlled, or even in the US in regards to Fox News, there are a certain element that naively, because this is also my card for naively believe whatever they are told by this government. The ties to Russia are in here as well. And there is something in regards to those ties to Russia that is going to be revealed. This is the card for the government. So the ties to Russia, something that is going to be revealed, something to be exposed in regards to the government, and it is about money. It always seems to be about money. On the base of the pack, we have loss and disappointment with the cups that are spilt. So I'm not sure whether this is the people or this is Orban, but there is loss and disappointment. But there will be also investigation. Oh, these are interesting cards. There will be investigation in regards to the giving and receiving of money. So whether this is from the US, EU or from Russia, that has chained the Orban government to this devil energy, this toxic energy. Just wondering whether Russia's coming in there again. So there's going to be an investigation into the giving and receiving or money laundering that is underpinned by this toxicity. He's going to be wounded in battle as the truth comes forward. There will be a truth that comes forward. He will walk away from what is no longer serving him as this news of the money laundering and the mercenary behaviour comes to light, which this is based on the cards, so this is telling me the story, which the truth is very possibly going to lead to his end and his downfall as actions and consequences are brought to the fore, resulting in a justice, not necessarily a legal justice, but a justice on behalf of the voters. Okay, that's interesting. So, and to be honest, what the election in Hungary, from what I've read, it is first over the line in each district that wins that district. So, using figures out of my head, if I received 51 votes for a certain district and you got 49, then I would win that district. So the margins by which he won were not significant. However, he did win the majority of the seats, and one does have to wonder if that was because of this ability to move voters around to seats that you feel may be close or that you may lose, so that you can win by that small majority. So I want to have a quick look at Hungary itself. Okay, will the election be challenged? I'm not saying that it will be, but let's have a look. Will the election be challenged? Will the election be challenged? Dropping my cards. Will the election be challenged? Will the election be challenged? I can't see any path to do so. Will the election be challenged? Will the election be challenged? I'm not seeing any option to do so. Under the laws of the country at this time, the election was legal. Oh, we've got this illusion and delusion. Choices. There are choices to be made, but it is very much about a delusion. And if you look at those choices, this is the choices that the government is making between wealth and power and materialistic beauty, vanity. These are the choices that are being made at the moment by the government on behalf of Hungary, not necessarily for the best for the Hungary people from Hungary themselves. So will the election be challenged? Oh, these two cards have popped out again. Walking away and loss and disappointment. I'll just keep reading on it. Will it be challenged? Let's have a look here. Okay. Come on down. So the two signifier cards is these two that popped out here. Now, this is not necessarily walking away, it's also walking to what serves you better, but loss and disappointment. And I'm feeling that a portion of the country, now, obviously he did have a majority vote in the country overall to get back in, but I'm just feeling that there is this emotional disappointment and this emotional walking away. This is about calling on your inner strength and making a plan, but be patient. So need to hold on to the strength and make a plan for a new start. At the moment, it's out in the cold, both financially. I'll just bring this up. For the voter, the voters are feeling out in the cold, like they're not representative, like they're being shunned. But there will be cause for celebration in the future. There will be a forward-moving action in regards to this with the Knight of Wands. There will be allegiances made, agreements made. We have this, there will be agreements made, allegiances made, but what we've got is this deception, sabotage, betrayal, and you've got the two figures in the background walking away from this smug figure that is gathering up all the arms as something is revealed, and it will be revealed quickly in regards to the this is very often intergenerational money, but it's also intergenerational wealth, or it can just be the continuation of wealth and power passed from one to the other. And it is messages about the money. So that's going to be interesting. Let's see what happens with Hungary. I think at this stage, what I'm really feeling is that it's just too early to make any predictions on the future. There was great disappointment amongst the EU. There is great disappointment amongst the parties, the non-Orban parties in Hungary, and they are just, they've stepped back and they are analysing what happened, thinking about what move to take next. So the path is very unclear there about what will happen next, and to be honest, okay, what I'm being told is not a lot can happen at this stage. At this stage, there has just been an election. Everybody's just having to take a step back and a breathe and think about what next. So I'm just going to pull my intuition cards and just do a bit of a story for Hungary. Just a bit of a story. Not a bad first card to fly out at me. This is about the future. The future of Hungary is quite full, about unity, but that will come via a leader. Bullseye. So tell me a bit more. The intertwining of the health of the country with magic and full illumination and freedom under rule. The feminine power. Right, let's just see what this line says. This throws me because this is the court jester. It is also a foolishness card, cowardice card. I'm not quite sure what it's doing in this line because we've got the feminine power, the strength, the abundance, the separation, celebration with contracts. Financial loss divided by the noise. Go, drop in the ocean is the key. And communication is the key. We have the people. The people are feeling down. The people are feeling down at the moment. And so I think this is what the energy is what I'm feeling, is there's this... so the future of Hungary will be full and unified via a leader, and that's a bullseye. Not necessarily this leader, but there is a leader that will bring this to fruition. We have the intertwining, the working together, the intertwining with the rest of Europe will be the positive health for this country, financial, economically, emotionally, will be the magic for Hungary. And with this the blessing of the full sun will come freedom under this rule. I'm not getting that this is the rule now. The feminine energy feels foolish at the moment because it is a strength of abundance and celebration. What I'm getting with this, I'll just do a quick shuffle, is that they signed away. They signed away into poverty. So I'm thinking that it was very possibly the feminine vote in this last election. They have this power that they're not real, this strength and abundance, and that they're not aware of, and by voting as they did, it's resulted in this poverty. It is the noise is dividing the country. The noise is dividing the country, but to move forward, every little drop in the ocean is the key via communication. Via the communication. And there needs to be a stop of the overseas influence. On the base of the pack, I got the people are feeling down, but they have to see that that's in the past and move forward and move up. So again, vague. I'm not entirely feeling great strength in that reading. It's very much a case of the future is positive, but at the moment there has been a gasp and an almost okay. When I get chills and I get the voice in my head, I know that's what I need to tell you. A feeling of disbelief that this has actually happened. There will be analysis of why. There will be a retreat and an introspection and a reformulating of a plan. So be patient. Stay safe and sane. Don't take risks at this stage. Look after yourselves. And I might have another reading on this in another 6 to 12 months and just see where Hungary is heading. But the cards I had back in, they're a reading from December, 22nd of December was when I published it, were a lot more powerful about the future of Hungary. What I'm getting at the moment is a feeling of uncertainty and unsettling and not quite sure what happened, if that makes sense. So thank you for joining me. Look after yourselves and take care. Bye-bye.